Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm actually busy most of the weekend, so I decided to hop on early this morning to do a video. Hopefully all of you have a good weekend depending on when you're watching this. And today I want to talk about how much I made in premium and also a little bit of capital appreciation, selling puts and calls that I do on the side to try to generate some income. We're going to look at the totals. We're going to look at all of the different stocks that I sell puts and calls on in the month of October and just kind of go over my process in the month of November, what I'm looking to do. And if you like this kind of content, my goal is to document me selling puts and calls for some extra income and just see if that works or not. And you guys hopefully find it entertaining. Please consider subscribing, that way you don't miss any future videos. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. You guys have been killing it. I've gotten like 15 subs in the last 2 or so videos, which is crazy. So I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you find this fun too. I like watching content like this, so I figured making content like this would also be equally fun. But I have the spreadsheet, and if you haven't seen my videos before, it's pretty rudimentary, it's basic. But it just helps me keep track of all of the puts and calls that I sell because I do so many. I do a lot of short-term selling of puts and calls, and these entries just keep flowing in. And sometimes it's hard to maintain, but I think in the future I'm going to try to maintain this assigned column better than I have been because most of the time these don't get assigned, so these should be mostly no. But I don't keep track of that. So I'm going to try to in the future. Maybe rethink some of this. We'll see. But maybe the part you're here for and the total, this blows me away to say, in the month of October, I've made $2,722. And I don't expect this to be normal. This is not a normal month by any means. If we go look at previous months, in August it was 1,663, September 1,901, so under 2 grand. And then this one has blown both away. So though it would be great to get something like this each month, I don't expect this to be normal. And I don't want you to expect that either. And if you're wondering how much collateral it took to get this, I do 2 things primarily. I trade the wheel on SPY, and I do that in my Fidelity account because I have more cash in there. And then my Robinhood account, I sell puts and calls on the different stocks that you see here besides the SPY. And one of the biggest holdings in my Robinhood portfolio is SOFI. I have, I think, 2,800 shares, and I continuously sell puts and calls on SOFI. And so I thought it'd be fun to write a little equation here and just get the total of premium that I gained just from SOFI alone. So what this is doing is it's looking for SOFI in this column, and if that's true, it'll get the sum of the values in this column. And that came to $613 just from SOFI alone, which is nuts. And so if we want to look at the individual stocks that I sold puts and calls on throughout the month of October, it looks like SOFI, SPY, Chipotle, Southwest Airlines, HIMS, which I didn't do HIMS many times. I only did it like twice or maybe 3 times. Robinhood, also didn't do it very often. Ford, NVDA, Walgreens, which was definitely a mistake, but luckily I only did it once, and it was more of just like me trying it out, seeing if this was a stock that I could sell puts and calls on. It doesn't look like it's very stable, so I don't, at least for now, I don't plan on doing this anymore. Bunch more SoFi, a little bit more Robinhood and NVIDIA, one of Ford here, Chipotle, SoFi, NVIDIA. And quite frankly, with the exception of Walgreens, which I don't plan on selling again for quite some time. We'll see. Maybe my mind will change. I think this list is probably going to be consistent of the stocks that I'm going to sell puts and calls on in the month of November. Now, yesterday's video, if you didn't watch it, please go back and check that out. I talked about purposely selling a put on Robinhood in the money to obtain the shares. And the reason I did that was because I want to trade the wheel on Robinhood, at least 100 shares of it, just to see how that goes. And so maybe you'll see Robinhood more frequently in the month of November than you did in October. But regardless, I think the same basket of stocks that you see in October will also see in November. And also, mind you, I still have some of these puts open that I sold. So the chances of this going down because I bought to close some of these puts is a possibility. So maybe we just say 2,600 just to be safe for the month of October, just in case I have to buy to close some. I don't expect to spend that much to buy to close, but more conservatively, we can say 2,600. And I think I was about to mention it earlier, and I went on a tangent, but the amount of collateral and capital it took for me to trade this is probably close to $90,000 or so. Maybe not quite 90, but if I were to ballpark it, it would probably be 90 grand. And the majority of that is from trading the wheel on SPY, because SPY is going to take up like almost $60,000 right there, just because the price of SPY is 570 something a share. So hopefully you found this interesting. I always like looking at the data this way and just reflecting on how much I made selling these options. And hopefully, I still make consistent income. That's the goal. But like I said, please feel free to subscribe. That way you can follow along and see if that ends up being the case. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in a future video, and take care.